So we're 10 minutes past the hour, and it is time for our next presentation. The building as body, the ultimate system of systems, and that's a unique metaphor. I'm really kind of looking forward to this presentation. Giving it will be Sarah Brown, VP of Marketing at Multitec. Sarah is responsible for all marketing communications at the IoT systems provider Multitec. She's a strategic marketing professional dedicated to driving quantifiable business results with data-driven outreach to IoT end-to-end user markets. For nearly 20 years, Sarah has boosted revenue at organizations big and small, including Sierra Wireless, Telit, and Wavecom. Most importantly, perhaps, Sarah is currently the chairman of the IoT end-to-end Council, our leader, Sarah Brown. Sarah, good morning.
Good morning, Keith, and welcome, everybody. Yes, you've done a nice job introducing me. I am Vice President of Marketing at Multitech and pleased to be chairing the IoT M10 Council this year. Really, just in that role, before we dive in, I just want to thank everybody for joining and thank the team for pulling together this series of IoT Days events through the month of September. I'm really glad we're finding ways to connect with all of you virtually while we're stuck not able to be together physically. So I do want to invite not just questions on this presentation, but also any feedback that you may have on the structure of this event and what you'd like to see more of, what we might be able to do differently as well. Because I think we all know that we may be doing a lot more of these virtual events even when we can get back together, but for the time being, this is our kind of one recourse. So I invite that feedback from all of you. Thank you for joining. So quickly, a little bit about Multitec. Multitec designs, develops, and manufactures data communications hardware for the industrial Internet of Things in order to connect physical assets to business processes, including those processes associated with smart buildings and facilities management. We are, in 2020, celebrating our 50th birthday. So we've been connecting machines to each other and to control systems and to the Internet since before the Internet of Things even was a thing. I'm proud to be doing it. We have a nice patent portfolio. We're a recognized industry leader. And we're very proud of our U.S. manufacturing at our headquarters facility in Mounds View, Minnesota. And we have 25 million devices deployed all over the world, connecting essential business assets all over the globe. So today we're going to talk about smart buildings, as we have been, those of you who've been with us from the earlier presentations for a while now. I maybe have a slightly different view on today's smart buildings. I happen to think that we're not quite there yet. We have a lot of disparate smart building related applications, but we haven't really cracked that nut of bringing all the information from different building systems, from different connected endpoints into a single pane of glass from which we can do diagnostic and remediation activities. And I'll just give you an example, a really simple example, and I'll be doing this throughout this conversation. We all know how much damage water can create. Nobody wants to have pipes leaking in their home or in any commercial buildings. When you have a leaky pipe, the first thing you do is call a plumber to seal the leak. But leaky pipes can be caused by all kinds of things. They can be caused by loose joints, natural wear and tear, but they could also potentially be caused by temperature variations. They could be caused even by structural issues in the building, in which case, if those things are not also controlled, patching the leak is not going to last you very long. So it's important to understand how these different systems relate to each other and to get sort of a master overview of what's happening in buildings. Pressing the wrong button. Stay with me. So let's talk about the human body. My daughter, Katie, is 17. She's just started what is likely to be a very, very unusual senior year in high school. Among her classes is advanced placement biology. And so in our new reality where she and my husband and I are all working together in the house at the same time almost every day, we sometimes get to interact with each other's workload in different ways. And so I'll credit her with the extended metaphor I'm about to take you through as we were talking through building systems and also systems of the body very recently when I was pulling this presentation together. I think it's interesting that when you look at the systems of the body, like building systems, they all have their unique and distinct roles in our life, and they also are very interdependent. And that's why we see trends, at least in the U.S. healthcare system, toward insurance companies requiring you to have a primary care physician to orchestrate your health care, because sometimes specialists get focused really on their specialty and may not consider all the different connections that are happening in your body systems. So without further ado, let's talk about how the systems of the body parallel building systems. We'll start with skeletal and integumentary systems. So integumentary systems, for those who are not biologists, which I'm guessing is most of us on this call, the integumentary system is your skin, right? And so here you'll see this slide structure repeated, suggesting points in a building that can be remotely monitored that are potential points of failure. They're subject in the structural sense to wear and tear, and as a person who is living on the coast, also to natural disasters like hurricanes, we're in hurricane season now, or to earthquakes. And as we talked about earlier, the structural integrity of your building can impact other systems like your plumbing. In the 21st century, I think we can all agree that your electrical system is truly the heartbeat of any building, smart or otherwise. It's very difficult to imagine making use of a building, especially in the long term, without electricity. These systems also drive many of the other systems throughout the building. Your muscular system is really all about motion. And we think of buildings frequently as, an unmoving structure, but many buildings have all kinds of motion systems involved in them. I have some listed here. And just to talk again about how these systems are interrelated, we had a hurricane early last month, Isaias, blow right through my condominium complex, and we took a direct hit from lightning. The power went out, it came back on, and strangely, some motion systems stopped working. We had, just after Florence, an assessment for brand new elevators. So we just deployed new elevators last spring, and after this electrical strike, we had 1 of 7 new elevators that didn't work. So it could have been anything with the elevator. It could have been mechanical. It could have been something else. Turns out it was related to the electrical system, which also shut down our gates, which in turn were driven through by multiple homeowners who didn't know that the gate wouldn't lift when they drove up to it. So now we have both a mechanical and an electrical problem with our motion systems. Important to monitor those things and be able to trace back where's the real source of the problem in order to remediate that problem. HVAC, I think, is a relatively easy comparison. Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, much like our respiratory systems. It's worth noting, by the way, that at least in the U.S., since the advent of air conditioning becoming really standard in buildings, there's been huge population migration into communities like Dallas or Miami, which were cities in their own rights, but small cities 100 years ago, now very large cities, all in the top 10. Thank you very much for the advent of air conditioning in particular. In this list, I've added scent. We're not going to be together probably in Las Vegas, but that's the most interesting application of internet-connected scent applications that I've seen is managing the smell of casinos in which people are allowed to smoke all day. So think about that if and when you find yourself in a casino in the coming years. Air quality monitors, I think, are also really important to manage, God forbid, any kind of toxic chemicals or, as in Legionnaire's disease, any germs that might be around. You really want to have monitors to keep everyone in your building safe. Sanitation systems, I'm including urinal system, though it's not in the image here, because I think water and wastewater, all your plumbing is really, really important. Also, cleaning services and supplies I've included here in sanitation systems for a building. And I think it bears mentioning that with the advent and growing deployment of low-power wide area network technologies, we've really opened the door to a whole new spate of internet-connected applications around monitoring these cleaning supplies in use. For example, making sure your soap dispenser has soap in it, making sure there are paper towels in your paper towel dispensers. Before the introduction of things like LoRaWAN or NB-IoT, those kind of applications, though useful, would have been really cost prohibitive in terms of an ROI perspective. Today, they're very much viable for business cases and being deployed at grand scale. And of course, in 2020, where would we be without our hand sanitizer? But I think, and actually this is a conversation I did have with my daughter over dinner one night, what's your favorite system of the body? I think she and I are in agreement. Our favorite system is the nervous system. It's all about actually sending messages from faraway parts of your body into your brain, which is the command and control center, and then sending messages back out. And that, I think, is where Multitech and some of the other presenters on this half day for smart buildings really have an important role to play in the system of systems that is a smart building, connecting, sensing, communicating to control center exactly what's going on out there with all the other disparate systems of the building. So take a look. You've seen already at least one version of the IoT sort of value chain. We've got our applications on the left, our different assets on the left, our application on the right side. And in blue, you can see where Multitech plays a role. Certainly, other folks on this call can fill in some of the other places. That's part of the reason I think that the IoT MTEM Council is such an important and valuable organization for us to be a part of and for you all to be a part of, is how do we connect the dots across that whole thing so that you have a functioning nerve center and nervous system for your building. So taking a holistic view, becoming the primary care physician, come facilities manager, you want to take a systems view of your building, understand all the different systems, how they interact with each other, be able to see what's happening at any given time, potentially take action at the point of failure, and also remediate and plan for the future of your building systems. So with that, I will close and invite any questions you guys might have.
Well, I've got a few right to start, sir.
Okay, very good.
So let me dive in. Hey, great stuff, great presentation. Facilities manager is physician. That's really that is something that I think has great value. But one of the things you said early on in your presentation was that smart buildings, and I'm paraphrasing here, so forgive me, smart building systems are not really there yet. There's a lot more to come, I guess, is what I took away from that. My question is, how might COVID drive that whole movement? I mean, we already hear about COVID being, IoT technology being deployed to do things like crowd control, robotic cleaning systems. You mentioned a lot about air quality. Can you give us some specific examples?
Well, I mean, we heard a little bit about this. I know we have some folks who have joined since Eric finished his presentation, but we heard a little bit about some of the unique deployments that are being accelerated in this time frame that are specifically focused on healthy workplaces, I guess is probably the best way to group them. Things like touchless temperature sensing at the doorway. Again, air quality monitoring, understanding room occupancy or promoting social distancing. These are the kind of applications that are being deployed as a part of, mitigating risk associated with this particular pandemic. I think from a broader adoption standpoint, what we see is once these systems are being deployed into buildings which otherwise may not have had the communications backbone to manage other systems, then you have the communications backbone to start connecting other assets in the building. And I think, if there's going to be a positive outcome to what's been a very, very challenging international problem to solve, this is among them. Building the infrastructure to support future goodness, as well as to mitigate the risk associated with COVID-19.
Right, and that goes directly to my follow-up, which was going to be, one of the questions we had earlier was, and again, I'm paraphrasing, so forgive me to the audience person who put the question forward, but the question was, what about beyond COVID? I make an investment now to do things like, remote hands-off cleaning systems, can those things bring value later, or is my investment a one-off? And I think you addressed that, but anything to add on that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that when you start deploying systems today, they will pay off, immediately and in the future. And unrelated to smart buildings, exactly one of the things that we're working on, for example, right now is supporting distance learning. Many school systems in the U.S. have received funding to help their students continue their education from home at least part of the time. Unfortunately, there are still many folks across the United States who don't have reliable internet access in their homes. However, once these things are deployed today to promote distance learning, the long-term promise of that deployment of networks and network access technology could be, narrowing the digital divide, if you will, and creating, long-term goodness for a huge and broad community, the entire community, not just the students and the teachers.
Right. Another question's come in, command and control system for smart buildings from Multitec. Does Multitec actually make smart buildings dedicated products? I would have thought the answer to that was no, but of course I put it to you. We create connectivity hardware with in a bunch of different flavors, right? LoRaWAN, NB-IoT. We have some Ethernet connected devices. We are now supporting private LTE and CBRS deployments. So we have an array of connectivity hardware, and I do think that's something that is really important for smart buildings. Why do we have devices that connect? We have maybe one single device that has 4 or 5 different connectivity technologies built into it. It's really to support environments like smart buildings, because those are heterogeneous networks. To really get the optimal solution deployed,
you need to tailor your connectivity technology to the right cost profile of that application. So we provide the connectivity hardware and some related services, but I would say no, we don't provide smart building systems. We provide enablement to people who provide smart building systems.
Right. You put it much better than I. One last question. MultiTech, as the name suggests, and this actually segues nicely from what you were just saying. As the name suggests, MultiTech does all kinds of connectivity hardware and systems. Is there one or two forms of connectivity that are best suited to smart building applications?
I would say no. To be honest with you, I mean, I really think that smart buildings require heterogeneous networks.
Right. So, but surely, NB-IoT and LoRa, those are things designed for sort of low data transmission, and obviously LTE and 5G. Those are things that are going to be broader pipes, so to speak.
Well, certainly, and as well as Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and
ranges also
wired networks, and they all have their place.
Right.
And that's why I think connecting with a platform, a cloud platform, to aggregate all that data from those different types of sensors, different types of connections into a master view is really, really critical to get smart buildings from being that disparate set of, applications sharing space into a really, truly smart building.
Right. And with that, Sarah, we are just about up against it.